My Lord, Bishop Mathew Hassan Kukah.
Now, what we call electoral violence is absolutely nothing but a contestation between poverty and opportunity. This is why we may have all the election violence in Nigeria, but there will be no election violence in Sokoto. There will be no election violence in Victoria Island. You know where the election violence takes place. It's only on the periphery. Where life is still in the Hobsonian state of being nasty, brutish, and short. And I'm making the point that Nigerians must pay attention and Africans must pay attention that elections may deliver even the best forms of government, but we can never guarantee the outcome. That is the day after. And we very often get disappointed because we just assume that when we elect a new government, it will give us the things that God only dreamt of. Only if you ask the question, what causes electoral violence? Is war a biological necessity or is it a human invention? Is there something intrinsical in our DNA that predisposes us to war and violence? Is fighting inevitable? Although peace is desirable, peace gives us an opportunity for prosperity. There's absolutely no doubt about that. That is why all the countries that President Jonathan illustrated in his presentation, how did they become peaceful? Why does violence continue? And why do our people not appreciate the fact that violence doesn't pay? So, in effect, when a society breeds inequality, whether it's based on gender, based on religion, based on status, whatever it is, of course, no society can provide everything for everybody. They tell you 100 people have died in Nigeria, oh, no problem, you just pour in more beer. They say that 300 people died, no problem. Please, is Manchester winning? They tell you, the question to ask in Nigeria is, what really have we invested in? So beyond the routine process of casting votes. Now, the first thing to know is that when Hitler finally unfolded his program, you remember the statement made by one of the priests, Bonhoeffer, who said, and it's very important, he said, when Hitler came for the Jews, I didn't speak out because I was not a Jew. When he came for the communists, I didn't speak out because I was not a communist. When he came, for the Protestants, I didn't speak out because I was Catholic. He said, by the time Hitler came for me, there was nobody left. So the question and the challenge for us is, how do we hold the feet of those whom we have elected? Because we elect people on certain platforms and certain claims. We must therefore never assume that people cannot use democracy to institutionalize other forms of anti-democratic behaviors and cultures. And this is why we must continue to engage the process. Why did they kill so many people? In 1990, in December, there was a newspaper in Rwanda called Kangura newspaper. And it published the 10 commandments for every Hutu. 10 commandments that people had to learn. And I won't read through the 10 commandments. One of them says, every Hutu should know that a Tutsi woman, whoever she is, works for the interest of the Tutsi ethnic group. As a result, we shall consider you a traitor if any Hutu marries a Tutsi woman, employs a Tutsi woman or even has her as a girlfriend or a concubine, employs a Tutsi woman as a secretary or takes her under protection. This information was out there in the open and people were listening. He says, every Hutu should know that our Hutu daughters are more suitable and conscientious in their role as women. Hutu women, be vigilant and try to bring your husbands, brothers, and sons back to reason. 4, every Hutu should know that every Tutsi is dishonest in business, and so on. And this is why when Hitler's viciousness started, and it's important to note, decent men who do evil things, they dress well, they have ties, they have families, they call their wives and girlfriends honey, they call them darling, they look normal. The challenge of government is how do we create a situation in which inequalities, stereotypes, rumors, violence doesn't begin to get perpetrated. When Kobani and others were killed, the rhetoric that had become dominant in Ogoni land was that they were no longer calling them human beings, they were calling them vultures. In the same way that in Rwanda, before the killing started, the Tutsis were called cockroaches. So, and of course, if you go back and read the literature on Hitler, and Nazism. You will see how Hitler characterized the communists, the Jews, and so on. And when these things are being done, sometimes the opportunities close up, make us fail to realize that it could be us. So, the problem is that we pretend when violence breaks out. If two people from northern Nigeria, let's say myself and a few other people, we're all sitting down and talking, and an Igbo man is not there, we'll never call him an Igbo. We'll never use the word Igbo. We'll talk about Anyamiri until an Igbo man is in the room. If a few Yorubas are sitting down and talking, and they're talking about the north, they won't call you Hausa, Fulani, they'll talk to you about Gambari. Now, all of us culturally have all these prejudices. The challenge of government is how do we create a situation in which inequalities, stereotypes, rumors, violence doesn't begin to get perpetrated.